I'm coming back onto my blowfly glasses, which I seem to be growing into rather amazingly. I wanted to bring some things, I always say, to the table. Let's bring things to the car. And that is the perspectives and the perceptions that we grow into or grow out of as we get older and we face different stages and phases in our lives. And we can often reject things that aren't congruent with the way that we've always seen them because it just feels like such a big step for us. And as adults, we're renowned for it. You know, we get stagnant, we get stuck in our ways. And because it's always been that way and it's worked for us for the formative years or for whatever amount of time, we can often feel like it's a big step away to move on from it. I'll give you a prime example. At my age and my stage, technology is quite a challenge, okay? I think anybody that was around in the 80s on has found that quite challenging because there are new developments, and there still are. I mean, our children, the ones that are born even now, 10 years down the track, they will be finding it, or maybe 15 years down the track, 20 years down the track, they will be struggling with the same challenges. So bring it back, for example, as a parent, I feel like it's very easy for us to press our own impressions of life onto our children, wrongfully and rightfully. We might have very beautiful notions and ideas and perspectives that we really want to share with our children. So for an example, we want to teach them how to be respectful and well behaved, how to be kind and courteous to our elders, how to, on our best behavior. I keep sticking to the same thing, because I'm not game to branch out to too many areas of discussion, but let's just stick with that one. And then as they get older, we might feel like the certain way to behave is appropriate. Bearing in mind that we've also raised possibly at some point our children to be somewhat independent, to be self-guided thinkers, to trust in themselves. We've given them information. For example, with my daughter, I would say to her, you're really good at this, or, I'd flatter her about something or whatever. But then when she changed that behavior, all of a sudden, it was foreign to me. I don't know who this child is anymore. She's all of a sudden, the way that she's perceiving life, the way that she's presenting herself in life, and the way she's living her life are not congruent with all the ideas and ideals and philosophies that I raised her with, and that she was apparent to at that earlier formative stage of her life. Well, of course she's not. And of course your kids, our kids, are not going to be that way because, like us, they're constantly evolving and developing into their own little personalities. And like us, things will change. So even though we might want to remain congruent or aligned to the fixtures that are in our lives, the things that we know, that we are familiar with, within ourselves, there's different phases that we will still go through emotionally. There's different spaces that we'll enter into in our lives on a physical level, on a tangible level, on an emotional level, on a cerebral level. Our needs and wants become different. Our need to connect with people might be different. Our priorities in life in terms of whether we want a house, whether we want to get fit, whether we want to be in a relationship with a respective other, whatever it is, whether we want to travel, whatever it is. Our child is no different. Our children are no different, in the sense that they also have their own developing personalities, and their times and spaces may not be as relevant to us personally and ours, and neither should they have to be. It's a really difficult thing for me personally to have learned, and I'm still processing it. And I hope to God I do it far more effectively over a short period of time so that I can be present in my beautiful girl's life. And my hope and prayer is that each and all of us can do it. It's very easy to do this with somebody else's children. It's very easy. It's very easy for me to connect with everybody else's children and be the mother that they wish they had. It's not a difficult thing for us to do that or be that, because it's almost like a honeymoon phase. They're not the ones that were there during our times. Our uncles and aunts and everything like that, they're all my honeymoon phase people. They could have been there for 20 years, but it is not the same as being raised by your own parents. And so that thing of release and expectation and predisposition to how we feel like we should be in our relationships with our kids, or with our mothers or fathers, or just with each other, is going to be very different from how it is with a relationship with anybody else in the whole world. Because for a start, as a mother, I can only speak from a mother's perspective, I guess, in a physical sense at least, that I have carried this beautiful girl in my heart and my stomach, in my brain, in my thought patterns, in my spirit, from the day that I conceived. So I carried this gorgeous girl up until the day I gave birth to her, and I connected with her, and I was developing all these little nuances with her long before she stepped into this world, these semiotic things that she would have in her life that will come back and repeat themselves over the years, just as they did with me and my mother. The memory, the genealogical memories, I'd probably find saying it wrong, but the memories that are passed down through our ancestry, those imprints, those DNA imprints, are still within our children and within us. And it takes a whole lifetime to make that full circle of what they really are. Bit by bit, they get revealed to us. And so we can't make that happen in our time for our children. It's up for our children to do that walk and that talk for themselves. And it is up to us to continue to respect and evolve alongside them on a different parallel, but, in supporting them and being their wingman or wingwoman and loving them unconditionally. And that's, I always thought that would be the easiest thing in the world, and it certainly is pretty easy for me to do with my daughter because she is such a gorgeous soul. But it also comes from self-love, and it begins with us on what we're actually sharing or imparting or teaching our children. So all those things are a lot to unpack and to process. And I'm sure that some of you have got far better ways of saying it. That's the best I can do. But anyway, sweet peace and love to each and all, and to your animals. Don't forget your animals.